I'm so tired I can't open my own phone. Welcome to the end of my moto photo adventure. First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. When time permits, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. And you didn't hear me wrong. This is the end of my trip with Chris, Jason, and Steve of Motophoto Adventures. Usually when I go on a trip, I'll film the trip and then I will do videos based on either a day or two on the trip and release them on the channel. I wanted to do this differently because, number one, unless I made a mistake or erased a card, I have a tremendous amount of footage for me, which is about 1 day's worth for the Motophoto guys. And it's going to take me time to even consider what I'm going to do with it. So today, let's sit down and let's go over the key points while they're still fresh in my mind. But first, we're going to get some key points that are not fresh in my mind. Hang on. Okay. I left New York for Benton, Maine on the 14th of August. Today, the day I've returned, is the 22nd of August. Now, this is not my longest trip, nor is it my most distance traveled. It is, however, my most filled trip. That is, Chris gave us very little to no downtime. We were going. We were seeing things, we were experiencing things, we were spending time together, we were camping. It was an incredibly full trip. And I don't think I've ever been more tired, nay, exhausted than I am today. I am filming this without changing anything because I know that as soon as I crawl out of these clothes, crawl through a shower, I'm going to eat and take a nap. I'm done for the day. I am literally toast. And part of that is because, let's check the phone, the trip was a total of 2,282.0 miles at an average speed of 53 miles per hour. Now, from the 14th through the 22nd, it feels like it should be more, but I rode for 42 hours and 47 minutes, which, again, it seems like it should be more. It really felt like more, but that's still a lot of bike time. That is absolutely a lot of bike time. In addition to the bike time, of course, is all of the hours we spent seeing sights that were interesting, hiking to views that were interesting, sitting around the campfire, chatting around tables, the many restaurants we went to. A full week. It was absolutely a full week. I am sure that my videos won't show that, but when Jason is done editing the Motophoto Adventures videos, wow, unless he cuts out half of it or more, it is going to be quite a few videos, and it's going to be non-stop things happening, because Chris really plans, and when his plan doesn't work out, he pivots immediately. There's no downtime. You're off doing something. There's not a lot of this. There's not a lot of that. You are just going, and that's amazing and exhausting. I do believe of the four of us, the only person who actually had the energy to maintain Chris's pace was Chris. The rest of us were peaking and valleying and dozing and trying our best to keep up. And that was fantastic. All right. So, again, the point of this video is to give you an idea of how long I was gone and what happened during that, and obviously how exhausted I am because of how much happened. So, this all started by my talking on Facebook Messenger with Jason Bennett of Motophoto Adventures. And we chit-chatted about politics and motorcycles and people and things that happened in our youth, because we're this close to being the same age. He has a better beard, but I'm more mature. Now, somehow, they mentioned that they were going to be doing the Northeast BDR. And I thought to myself, I've only done section 3 and 4, maybe a little of section 5, and I've only done it on a Honda Dual Sport. I've never even taken my 390 over there. So here's 3 guys in my age group, and they're going to run it on their big bikes. So I figured, what the hell? I sent Jason a message and said, hey, if you guys want some company, I'm in New York already. Let me know. I'll ride and do some sections with you. As it turned out, Jason ran the idea by Chris and Steve, and despite having met me and actually spent hours with me eating and talking to me at the Palmetto ADV rally, hey, thanks, Cheyenne, they said, sure, let's drag Frank along. It'll be fine. I thought it'd be great. They thought it'd be fine. However, in case you're not keeping up with the weather here in the Northeast this summer, the Vermont areas had tremendous rainfalls to the point where bridges, roads, trails, in some cases buildings, literally washed away over the course of a week. And unfortunately, that included much of Section 4, Section 5, and even some of Section 3. So the BDR had put out on Facebook, hey, we're closing Section 4 and Section 5, closing being we respectfully request that you do not enter those areas and create problems for the people that live there. These are communities. In the desire to respect the BDR's wishes, to respect these people that have had a tragedy come through their area, Chris, who had been planning for months and had a perfect Google spreadsheet of exactly what he wanted to do, he pivoted and in a few days was, hey, Northeastern BDR, let's put that on a table until the communities are ready for it, and let's go to Canada. All that time and planning, and the man was able to pivot to, let's go to another country and do something else. If you're looking for tips on how to plan, I truly regret not sitting down with Chris and picking his brain. Jason, get on that. Stop letting Chris interview other people and interview Chris specifically on planning trips and the importance of when the plan fails, and they all fail. Not as dramatically as closing down 2 sections of a BDR, but all adventure plans fail. When those plans fail, Chris can help all of us learn how to just go. Pivot and adventure. No break, no stop. This trip started on the day it was going to start and ended on the day it was going to end. Despite being an entire country away, that's how much this adventure changed. And for those of us that were just following Chris along, to us, it just kept moving. And I'd really like to know how he does that. The adventure changed. We're going to Canada. Now, the Motophoto guys are coming from South Carolina. That's just a little bit of a trip to Canada. So naturally, Chris worked it out. He found a Bunka-biker. Hey Jason, interview Chris about Bunka-biker. It's something I've heard of. I kind of know what they do. I have no idea in the world how to find a bunk for this biker. Why is that not on your channel? So Chris found us a Bunka-biker that allowed Steve to bring his 22-foot truck and his 12 or 16-foot trailer with a bunch of bikes on it and leave it there for over a week. That was Jamin, and that man was friendly and amazing. I arrived at the Bunka-biker location earlier than the Motophoto guys, and I spent about 2 hours with Jamin and his family. They're just wonderful people going out of their way to help bikers. In addition to that, Jamin told me about the Cabot Trail that we were going to do and his experience riding from there to Canada. So I had all of this information ahead of time without even having to open a Wikipedia. So, Bunka-biker, look it up. I'm going to. After staying in what's essentially a tiny home, I thought we'd be camping in Jamin's yard, we headed into Canada, into New Brunswick, which in my videos, I'm going to call other provinces, and I have no idea why. but it was New Brunswick, and then rode into Nova Scotia, where the plan was to essentially circle the area and go onto the Cape Breton Island to do the Cabot Trail. And we did it. We went up there on the spur of the moment, figuratively. Chris didn't have a lot of time to plan, but he kept us riding with great roads, interesting sights, meeting interesting people, doing interesting things, which you'll have to watch Motophoto Adventures to see all the interesting things. For me, you'll just have babbling, like you're accustomed to if you watch my videos. And he kept us going for over a week. The videos will get into that experience, this, that, and the other thing, where we went, what we did, who we talked to, yada, yada, yada. Watch my videos, absolutely watch Motophoto Adventures videos. But what I really, really want to touch on before I let you go, and please stick around for this, is I'm going to say this as diplomatically as possible, and I hope I come across clearly. If I had gone to Nova Scotia by myself, I would not have considered it a great trip. Being from the Northeast, Nova Scotia looks like Maine. The trees are the same, the coast is the same, hell, the people have the same darn accent. They're incredibly friendly and nice, and so is every single person you'll ever meet in Maine. Having gone to New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia was meh. You know, kind of been there, kind of done that. Beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's an awful long distance to go and say to yourself, this feels like Maine, which is an hour and a half away. I'm not going to say disappointing. I absolutely had a wonderful time. But what made this the second best trip I've ever taken was the Motophoto Adventure guys. That is what makes an adventure. It's not the motorcycle, it's not the gear, it's not the riding, it's not the place, it's not the views, it's not the people you meet there. What makes an adventure, and I believe this truly as one of the few absolute truths I've ever come to understand, what makes an adventure is the people you bring with you. This is the whole of what's good about motorcycles. I mean, it's great to ride fast, it's great to ride slow, it's great to be off-road, it's great to go someplace, it's great to tinker on your bike. But all of that is like the 1 through 5. That is 1 through 5 of being a motorcycle owner for me. For me, it's going on an adventure. And 6 through 10, that is going on an adventure with people that just add so much to it. So, bringing this back to Motophoto Adventures, because literally that's why I had this adventure, that's why I enjoyed this adventure, that's why I will be harassing my friends, telling them about how awesome August 14th through August 22nd of 2023 was. I will be telling them that. I will be yapping and bothering them and harassing them about they were at work while I was having an awesome adventure because of Chris Smith, Jason Bennett, and absolutely because of Steve Roos. These three guys are completely different. If you walked into a building and needed help, and these three guys had independently helped you, you never would guess that they're in any way attached to each other. When you take them out of the this about cameras, that about cameras, this about cinematography, that about photography, when you take their profession away, these are three unique individuals. And while I truly enjoyed all of the camera info, I was sitting there just breathing it in, and it was spectacular and interesting as someone who does a little bit of tinkering with cameras and YouTube. If you have the opportunity to meet Chris Smith, to meet Jason Bennett, or absolutely to meet Steve Ruse, there is no way you will not find them interesting, entertaining, and of value to you as human beings. They are great individually. And when you put them together, my face hurts. My face still hurts from laughing about things each one of them said. Steve will kill you. You will just fall over and die. Jason has the sharpest wit. He is the sense of humor I think I have, but I don't really. And Chris is subdued until he says something that makes your eyes bulge out of your head and you're like, where did that come from? Holy jeez. Again, I had met these guys and literally spent hours chatting with them. I sat and ate dinner with Jason and Chris and Steve, and then separately with Jason. And I thought I had a handle on what to expect from these guys. I mean, couple of hours, I've literally watched every video they've ever made. I have to at least have an inkling, right? No. They are awesome. Chris is literally a journalist. The man is a photo journalist. But he's also someone who you want to have a conversation with about anything. He is easily the most well-rounded man I've met. And a lot of that does not come through on video. You have got to talk to Chris, and you will be floored at how interesting Chris Smith is. He's not just a journalist. He's not just who I want to get information from. He's not the best person, only the best person to interview someone for me to get a story from. He's also a funny, interesting man. And spending time with him, wow, you're going to love it. And next we'll go right to Steve. Steve is exactly who he is on camera. Because Steve Ruse is loving life. Period. The man smiled until Chris said, hey guys, I want to take a photo where we're all sad. Yeah, you screwed that up, Jason. Or did you? Until Chris said, all right, guys, look sad. And I did my, and Chris did his. And Steve goes and fought his smile. Because the man is always happy to be doing what he's doing, at least when he's on an adventure. And he said as much. He's like, I came here to have fun. And Steve Ruse appears to be the kind of man that when he makes a decision to have fun, well, damn it, that man is going to have fun. And he is going to drag you along with him. Even if you don't have the energy for it, Steve is going to put that smile on your face, and it's going to hurt. You're really going to hurt after every conversation with Steve, because you're going to smile while he's talking, you're going to smile while you're talking, and you're going to laugh your ass off until it hurts. Oh my God. And finally, Jason Bennett. If I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, I would make an effort to make Jason my new best friend. I like his politics. I like his philosophy. I like his negativity where it fits. I like his positivity where you should have it. And I like that that man is always asking a question. If you haven't seen it, I haven't even watched an episode of it yet, but Jason recently started a podcast. I believe they're on episode 3 or 4. Now that I'm not on vacation, I'm going to watch them. If there was a man who had something to say, it's Jason Bennett. And he is an interesting man that I really want to hear what he has to say. I don't know if I'm going to agree with it. From our conversations, there's a fair to middling chance I'm going to, but if he has something to say I agree with, that's great. And if he has something to say that I don't agree with, I'm going to have to seriously think about my position, because he has put in the effort to think about what he wants to say. And when he opens his mouth, it is worth listening to. I am very much looking forward to that podcast. All right. I don't know how much I've kept you, so let's just summarize this incredibly quickly. Go on an adventure. The thing that matters the most is who you go on that adventure with. And lastly, if you have an opportunity to meet the Motophoto Adventure guys, drop what you're doing and go and do that. Chris, Jason, Steve, seriously, I had a wonderful time. I hope you did as well, but guys, it doesn't even matter. I had such a good time. You guys right now are driving to South Carolina, and if you were saying to each other, Jesus, why the hell did we go with that guy? And if I never see Frank again, it will be too soon. I am totally okay with that, because that's how good a time I had. All right, everybody. If you stuck around, take care. I genuinely appreciate it.